sure that most of you know what Ready Player One is, and if you don't, it's a film adaptation of a book that is basically about people trying to save the future. At least that's what I get out of it. I don't know. I haven't read the book. But one thing I do know about it is that Mechagodzilla is going to appear in it. So, let's talk about that on today's episode of Year of the Monsters. Snippity snap, my fellow human beings and other creatures of the cosmos. This is Sam the Geigen fan, and today, as the title suggests, we're going to be talking about Mechagodzilla's appearance in Ready Player One, and what this means for future monsterverse outings, if there are any, and plus some more general thoughts from me about Ready Player One, because I want to talk about this movie, some more, because I feel like it. Okay, so just the other day, at this point, at the time of this video's recording, it was confirmed that Mechagodzilla was going to be making an appearance in Ready Player One after speculation. Yeah, let's go with that. So, naturally, in the mindset of the Godzilla fanbase, everyone was like, oh my gosh, these movies are being made by the same company. So maybe Mechagodzilla, and subsequently the other monsters that will appear in the movie, will appear in the monsterverse. And me personally, do I think this will happen? Possibly. I think it'll probably happen. I don't want to say outright, no, it won't, because chances are, like with the news about how Toho will be making more Godzilla movies after 2020, I'll have to eat my own words again, but I mean, yet again, they'll probably be delicious, so I don't think Mechagodzilla will appear in them. Why am I like this? The reason why I think Mechagodzilla will only just probably appear is that the monsterverse isn't going to go on forever. It just isn't. I feel like that it's going to end after Godzilla vs. Kong comes out. For better or for worse. In my opinion, worse, because I don't have a lot of faith in Godzilla vs. Kong, to be honest. But that's for another video. This is for now video. I think that's great that Mechagodzilla is getting a lot more appearances, in kaiju movies in general, or just as of late. I mean, we already know that he's going to be appearing in Godzilla War Ready City. Being one of Toho's big five monsters, of course he's going to appear, more in these movies. Financially speaking, it would be a great decision to feature Mechagodzilla in the monsterverse because, like I stated, he is one of Toho's big five monsters. But the featuring of a mechanical Godzilla in this universe wouldn't be that practical. Looking at this realistically, it wouldn't be very practical. Why would you build a robot with the same limitations as the thing that you're trying to fight? For a long time, I've always had this mindset about Mechagodzilla for why people decided to, create a Mechagodzilla to fight against Godzilla. And that being that it could be like visual confusion or something. Like, for example, if Godzilla sees Mechagodzilla, chances are he'd probably be confused, which then would lure him towards Mechagodzilla, meaning that he'd get hecking wrecked. Oh god. I just freaking decapitated. That was pretty intense. Okay. But moving on from that, Mechagodzilla just wouldn't seem very practical because you'd have him built around the limitations of, the thing that you're trying to fight against. So overall, it wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense. I'd personally much rather want to see something like Magura or Jet Jaguar or something in this universe, because they functionally make a lot more sense to me rather than, a Mechagodzilla. There's some rumors spreading around with monsters like Godzilla, King Ghidorah, Megalon, Cloverfield, Gamera, and Gigan all appearing in this movie, which I am 100% for that decision because those monsters are awesome, and I would love to see them more in movies, especially things like Megalon or Gigan, because, they're cool and they don't really get a whole lot of appreciation. So it's cool to see that they might get that. I don't know. But as I stated earlier in this video, I want this to be also kind of like a pre-movie analysis for Ready Player One, because I have a lot to say when it comes, to this movie. So let's get into that. I'm just gonna start off by saying that I haven't read the original book. It wasn't really an idea that intrigued me, but when I learned that this movie was gonna be made, I was like, oh, cool, they're making a movie out of this, because the idea sounds cool. It really does. It sounds something like right up my alley, but I don't think that I'm personally wanting to go and see it. Like, I want to go and see it, but like, not on my own time. Like, if a group of friends asked me, "Hey, Sam, you want to go and see a movie?" I'd be like, "Yeah, let's go see like Ready Player One or something." They'd be like, "What the heck is that?" I mean, just being real here, I mean, I don't think a lot of people exactly know what Ready Player One is, because it's a much more nerdy sort of thing. But I mean, it is one of those movies, you know, in my mind that I would want to go see with a group of people because it just looks like one of those movies. I know that a lot of people are also excited about it because it showcases a lot of old, like, nostalgia, 80s sort of stuff, and that is evident in some of the recent posters that have been released, which, side note here, I don't like the look of these new posters. Like, I get what they're going for. They're trying to get, you know, nostalgia, 80s, wow, because that's the new hip trend, kiddies. Honestly, they just look like parodies of the original posters, which I guess was the intent, but I mean, doesn't mean they look good. And plus, I don't even recognize half the movies that they're trying to reference in these posters, so you failed. This also leads into another problem that I have more or less with movies in general that are, you know, all about the 80s and nostalgia and stuff. And that is that I feel like that they're banking more or less on the fact that it's 80s and nostalgia and all that cool stuff. Because when I go into a movie that's all about the 80s, I don't expect like, "Oh, cool, that's a reference to like Star Wars or something." I go in looking for, you know, good story and good characters and all that stuff. I don't like Stranger Things because it's a throwback to the 80s. I like Stranger Things because it has a good story with good characters. Same thing goes for here. I don't want this to just be a throwaway cash grab movie. I want it to be a good movie with good story and good characters. And the fact that monsters like Mechagodzilla and Gigan are gonna be in it, supposedly, are not exactly enough of a push for me to personally go and see it. I mean, I want to go and see Ready Player One, but as I stated before, I would want to see it with a group of friends. I wouldn't want to go see it, you know, on my own time. There's a difference between a movie with monsters in it and a monster movie. It's a difference between movies like Cloverfield and the Cloverfield Paradox. And I guess another reason why is I don't want to fall into the same trap that I did with the Cloverfield Paradox, that being a movie that is advertised as a monster movie, not having a lot of monster and just being about something else like the Cloverfield Paradox was. And I mean, we all know how the Cloverfield Paradox turned out, so I'm a little bit apprehensive when it comes to, you know, these kinds of movies that advertise monsters and all that stuff. It's why I have no interest in seeing the fourth Cloverfield movie that's coming out this year entitled Overlord, because I feel like that I'm just going to fall into the same trap that I did with Cloverfield Paradox. So I'm not taking any chances with that. Cloverfield Paradox was enough of a mess for me, so yeah. But those are just my general thoughts on all these things, and I want to ask, what did you guys think of this recent news regarding the monsters in Ready Player One? And what are you guys' thoughts on Ready Player One so far? Do you think it looks good, trash, or somewhere in between? Either way, this is Sam the Gigan fan, telling you guys to not bank on 80s nostalgia unless it plays an important part in your story, and to remember to wash your hands.